My brothers and sisters in nerdiness, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be doing some more painting. We are finishing off our painting for Necromunda Ash Wastes with the Ash Wastes Might Riders. So we're going to be doing this one on camera. We have 4 to do. We have this little fella. We have this fella. And we have this fella. But this one looks much more fun to paint, so this is the one we're going to paint on camera. I'm going to be painting them all at the same time. But as I said, once we start on the next one, we'll skip on until we're coming back to this one. Okay, so first off, we need to, before I forget, they've all been primed black, and the primer I use for that is a Vallejo one, which is that one. So I've used that through my airbrush, give it all a flat black primer, and now we're going into it with a dry brush of uniform grey. So we'll get some of this on our little palette here. Probably don't need a great deal of it. Put a spot more down just to be on the safe side. If we need any more, we can always come back to it. And we get a soft, flattish brush. And we dab it in to the board or the palette that I'm using, and we just slightly go over and downward motions at all times. Now bear in mind, some of these, there are what you call it, as you can see, it wobbles a bit. It's a very tenuous grasp on the base that we're going to be that we have here. Hopefully it holds properly. It's that tenuous it isn't even on straight. The issue we have is the fact that it's a it's just held on, big model, but held on by 2 small areas, small points. So we need to be wary of that as we're painting, not put too much pressure on it, and try your best to support with your fingers or your hands any areas that are going to be a little bit what's the word I'm looking for, a little bit fragile. Now we are trying to get everywhere, but obviously underneath is going to be a little bit difficult to get at, so I'm not really too fussed about getting under there. The idea of this is we're trying to add depth, and the black primer is going to add the shadows underneath, and to be honest, you're not going to see much of that, but we are going to have to make sure that we get everything above everything that's going to be hit by light. We're going to have to make sure that we get everything sort of like hit with this. We are going to be coming back over and going over once again with a white, but that's in the next stage. We have to make sure that these are all dry. I just need to get this back leg done. There we go. I did say downward motion. There are certain times when you can't get a decent downward motion. to paint these. So obviously when it comes down to that, don't worry too much. And try and just get it on. So we've done that one. Let's go into the next one and come back when I finish these. Okay, so that is that with the grey. Now we need to go over and do these with white. Now this section, we're going to have to make sure that the areas we want white and the areas we want brightest gets a very high concentration of the white dry brush. So once I've found my white, which I just have, first one I picked up, we'll come back into this fella. So as I say, we just want to make sure that the white we have is pure white, and we're using for this my painter's matte white, obviously. I'm saying obviously, it could have been any brand, but I use my painter paint, so that's why I was saying obviously. So we get white on here, and let me just check it on my finger. Be okay, and we make sure that where we want it the brightest is where we get a lot of this. So the bright areas are going to be the ones that are going to be directly hit by light. So you don't want any of this on the underside of areas. Area. That's better. So as I said, we're looking for areas that are going to be in direct sunlight. Anything underneath is not something that we need to cover with this at all. Just make sure that some is on here. There we go. That will do. We don't need to go mad with this one. So join me when we come back and I've finished the rest of them. That will be fine. Okay, so that's that done. So let's bring in our minute of attention, and I'm also going to bring in a clean CD palette when I can find one. Bear with me. Here we are. Okay, so to start off with, we worked with speed paints for these. Now bear in mind the speed paints I have are the version 1. I've not got any of the version 2 speed paints yet. So starting off with, not pallid bone. Is it pallid? Oh yeah, it is pallid bone I'm using. So yeah, pallid bone speed paint. and just add a little there. And we can use our Rosemary & Co size 0 brush. It's got a really nice point on it. So I do like Rosemary & Co brushes. So much so I bought 3 more. Where were they? Yes, see, I've got another size 0, a size 1, and a size 20 sable brushes, Kolinsky Sable. They are really nice brushes. They hold the point really well. I don't think there's anywhere else on these apart from the faces that need doing. Or we'll do this. I won't, no, because I don't want that to be bone coloured. So I'll just wet the brush, bring it back over. Now I can dry the brush and then dry the horn. That's going to be a different colour to everything else. So I think all there is for these is the... Nope, hang on. Just make sure the brush is just moist rather than dry. There is a little bone thing there. And just make sure that that's done with the bone. I don't think there's any other areas that are bone on this one. So that one's done. Next one, I'll just go through this. Okay, so that is, I think that's for that colour. Bring you back in. And what else do we have to do? Okay, so Cloudburst Blue we will use this time. So you have to give these a good shake, otherwise the pigments won't mix. There we go. Cloudburst Blue is what we're looking at this time. And this is the dark blue that we had for the capes and various other cloth areas. I'm going to do these with this colour. There we go. And I do apologise for the last series of videos. I know I went off camera quite a bit. I hadn't realised while I was painting, because a lot of these were painted as one video, and I just split them. And I hadn't realised as I was painting that I was off camera. And the reason I was off camera is because I positioned it so that I was up here, but I was painting down here. Obviously going off camera. So I positioned the camera this time so that I'm painting, so I'm pointing at where I'm painting. Hopefully I won't go off camera at all, or at the very least as much as I did in the last series of videos. But again, I hope I didn't spoil your enjoyment and you could follow along through what I was doing. I needed to find the other so I could get an idea of what I was painting. So that's that. Okay, so we also have this area here to paint in this. There we go. That's that. I believe that's all we're doing for this fella. Let me have a look. Right, so it looks as though this coat is a patchwork kind of thing. So I'm going to do this piece here at the bottom of this in this colour as well, and the rest in the normal colour I did for it. Also do this piece. You can make things up as you go along, as long as you get the colour scheme correct for all of them. If you're doing like an army kind of thing, you'll be fine. Also, the hood was this colour, so we will do this as well. So a little more than I thought there was for this colour. I didn't think I'd done all that much with this. But never mind. We'll get them done. We'll get them done. That's why you should always, if you're doing minis, always try and make sure that you keep a reference handy of what you've done, especially if it's taken a bit to actually, in between painting sessions, you need to look back and remind yourself how you painted things, otherwise things are not going to look right. There we go. So that's him done. Let's go on to the next ones, and I'll be back when in fact, I'm going to just show you, I'm going to paint this as well. These little banners on the back I'm going to paint with this before we go. So I will be back when I've finished painting with this colour. Okay, so that's done for this particular colour. Let's move on to the next one. The next one I'm going to be doing is for the, let's move him out of the way. Let's see what we have. Okay, we'll use this one. What I'm also going to do, just because I want to use as much of this as I can, I'll clean the palette. And Runic Grey is what we're going to be using now. This is a pale bluey grey. And this is going to be used for his coat. Now the issue I have is that this particular colour is not much different to the actual dry brushing area, so I have to be even more, what's the word I'm looking for, even more careful of where we're going to put in this to make sure that we get it everywhere. That is if you're using this colour, obviously. If you're doing a different colour scheme, then that's fine. But the way I'm doing these, it's very similar, as I said, to the way the what you call it, the dry brushed areas. So if you are doing it this colour, then just make sure that you get everywhere that you need to get. don't worry about having to go back and rechecking things and repainting stuff. I just want to double check on some areas what's what. Okay, I knew I'd done this somewhere other than that. These areas here, also this colour. Right, I know what that is now. So that is what we're going to be doing for this colour. So I'll pop you away and we'll come back when I've painted all of the coats. Okay, so that is about it, what we're doing for this fella. Couple of touch-ups here and there, but there we are, that's that. Now then, let's get on with doing the next colour.